The rain came out of nowhere. One minute the sky over the Blue Ridge foothills was postcard blue. The next it turned bruised and angry, like something up there had been watching too long and finally snapped. Aisha and Kosi gripped the wheel of her rented Jeep, windshield wipers slapping uselessly against the downpour. She was 3 hours outside Charlottesville, chasing a story for her documentary series on forgotten American homes. This particular farmhouse had been listed on a quiet real estate forum with the cryptic note, "Owner wants it documented before sale. Cash. No questions." She should have asked more questions. The property appeared through the sheets of rain like a painting that didn't belong. White columns wrapped in ivy, black shutters, and a wraparound porch that looked like it had been waiting for company it never wanted. Aisha killed the engine, grabbed her camera bag, and sprinted to the door. It opened before she could knock. A tall, broad-shouldered man stood in the doorway, backlit by warm lamplight. Rain glistened on his dark skin. His eyes, deep-set, watchful, studied her the way a surgeon studies a face before the first cut. "You must be Aisha," he said, voice smooth with a faint southern drawl.
"I'm Dr. Kofi Mense."
"Come on in before you drown." Inside, the house smelled like old wood, candle wax, and something metallic underneath. Aisha wiped her boots. "Nice place. You've been here long." "Couple years," Kofi answered, taking her wet jacket. "My wife loved it. After she passed, the quiet got loud. Planning to sell and head back to Atlanta. Figured someone should record what it looked like before it belongs to strangers." They settled in the living room. Rain hammered the roof like impatient fingers. Over coffee, Kofi spoke calmly about his work as a reconstructive surgeon. How he rebuilt faces shattered by car wrecks, fires, and violence. Then he mentioned his wife, Nia. Truck hit her head-on. Steel rods went straight through. 93 stitches. 8 plates. I did every one myself. 2 weeks later, she looked at me with that new face and said she couldn't live in it. His voice never wavered. She took her own life. After that, I couldn't stay in the city. Came here to be closer to what was left of her. Aisha offered condolences. Something in the way he smiled made the back of her neck prickle. He showed her around the main floor but gently steered her away from the hallway at the far end. "Storage room. Full of rats and old junk. Best leave it." She nodded. But photographers notice what people try to hide. While Kofi stepped out to make a call, Aisha wandered. She raised her camera to shoot the exterior through a window. The shutter clicked. When she checked the preview, the photo showed bright sunlight on the farmhouse, even though the sky outside was black with storm clouds. She frowned, scrolled back. Every other photo from the last hour was correctly dark and rainy. Only this one was wrong. Her pulse quickened. She told herself it was a glitch. That night, the rain refused to stop. Kofi insisted she stay in one of the guest rooms. No sense driving these mountain roads blind. He made her cup noodles and smiled when she accepted. Later, alone in the dark bedroom, Aisha couldn't sleep. At 2:17 a.m. she opened her eyes and saw a woman hovering above her bed. Nia's face. Exactly like the portrait downstairs, except her eyes were hollow. Aisha bolted upright, gasping. The figure vanished. She told herself it was a dream, but the house felt different now. Every creak sounded personal. She crept into the hallway. Only one light burned at the end of the forbidden corridor. Heart hammering, Aisha turned the knob. The room was a shrine of horror. Makeup kits, wigs, surgical masks stained brown, ropes on a wooden chair, and the walls covered in Polaroids. Every single woman in the photos looked identical to Aisha. Same full lips, same high cheekbones, same braids. Some photos had dates. The most recent was yesterday. Handwritten notes beneath them read things like, "Closer this time." She smiled like Nia. Almost perfect. A cold wave rolled through her stomach. She turned to run and walked straight into Kofi. He stood in the doorway wearing surgical gloves, an apron spotted with old blood, and a calm, almost gentle expression. "Aisha," he said softly, "don't be afraid." She backed up. "Stay the hell away from me. I'm not going to hurt you. Not the way you think." He took one slow step forward. I just need you to listen. He told her everything. How after Nia's suicide he couldn't let her go. How he started finding women who looked like her. How he brought them here, tried to fix them into the perfect version of his wife using his surgical skills and something older rituals he learned from a root doctor in the Low Country. How none of them were ever quite right. Until Aisha. You've been here before, he whispered. Many times. Every month the loop resets. You come. You document. You stay the night. You find the room. And I bring you back to the beginning. But today I forgot the ash in your water. That's why you remember. Aisha's knees buckled. Flashes hit her. Memories that weren't memories. The same conversation. The same rain. The same scream dying in her throat. Kofi picked up a scalpel from the tray, turning it so the light danced along the blade. This time will be different. I've learned. You'll wake up as her. You'll love me again. Behind him, Nia's ghost materialized, eyes wide with warning. Aisha saw it clearly now. She lunged for the door. Kofi moved faster than any man should. The needle sank into her neck. Fire spread through her veins. The room tilted. As darkness swallowed her, she heard his last gentle words. See you soon, my love. The next morning the rain had stopped. A fresh-faced woman with braids pulled up to the farmhouse in a rented jeep. She stepped out, camera bag over her shoulder, and smiled at the beautiful old property. The front door opened. A tall, broad-shouldered man stood in the doorway, backlit by warm lamplight. You must be Aisha, he said warmly.
I'm Dr. Kofi Mense.
Come on in before the next storm hits. And somewhere deep inside the house, in a room at the end of the hall, a new Polaroid was already waiting for its note. If your heart is still racing and you want more stories where the past refuses to stay buried, subscribe to Eerie Narratives right now and turn on notifications. These hills have eyes, and they remember every face you try to forget. What would you have done differently in Aisha's place? Drop your answer below. The house is always listening.